Right, it's a nice night and we're out with Millie. We're just going to do a little bit of training. Been asked a few times recently about the stop whistle, so just going to show you a few little minutes of training that we do right from pup stage. Once you put the dog on the lead, 5-6 months old, that's when training the stop whistle begins. So what we'll do is, like Millie is here, we'd have a walk into heel, and then every so often we would give her the sit command on the whistle and sit, back it up with the voice command, and obviously she goes down to stop, to sit, like she is. Now we work on this with patience. It's all common sense. Training gun dogs is all about building up from the bottom, so step by step. You can't run before you can walk, and you can't just do little bits and pieces of training here, there and everywhere. You've got to do it properly, and by what I mean by properly is you've got to do it step by step and get the commands to actually sink into the dog's head and stay there. And the only way you can do that is by purely by patience and repetition, week in, week out, day by day, 2 or 3 training sessions a day, 10-15 minutes, and just work your way up. It doesn't happen overnight. So this is the regime we use to train the dogs to be obedient and to be steady. So what we would do, as I say, I'll just run through it quickly. I'll just like, pace it out with this dog so you can see exactly where we start from. So again, and heel, good girl. So off we go again. So we're just asking her to walk to heel. And you can see what we do is, sorry if the wind's interfering with the sound, give her the whistle command to sit, sit and stay. Now you can't teach a dog to stay until you've got the dog sitting, obviously, so the dog has to be really tight on the sitting. Then you can start doing the staying, and I'll show you how we do that. But basically, to begin with, you leave the dog on the lead like this, so it still thinks it's on the lead, and the lead's obviously control. So basically, good girl, and heel. And sit. So once you've got the dog going down to sit, the way to teach stay is drop the lead. You're still within a very close proximity of the dog. Now, everybody shows all these videos and everything works perfectly. Now, obviously it doesn't. So what you do initially is just step away, half a yard or a yard. If the dog stays sat, brilliant. Then you go back in, good girl, and sit and stay, good girl, praise the dog. Now obviously if the dog moves, what you've got to do then is patience again, keep trying it, reassuring the dog, get the dog sit, don't get gruff, don't get angry, don't start scruffing the dog. I've found over the years this doesn't work. It simply just doesn't work. Put the dog on, keep the dog on the lead, and if you have to do, just walk the dog back and heel to the original position she moved, and sit and stay. Use your voice and stay. Millie, stay. Walk away, walk back in. Now there is occasions where I've had dogs that just will not want to sit and stay, and you have to literally sometimes just tie them, just pop the lead over a fence post and start that way. Any means you can to get the dog to stay. And once you've actually got it settled and calm and staying, then you can bring it off the fence post or wherever and go back to this original method that I'm showing you now. Right, so back to the stop whistle. So this is the stop whistle once you get a dog to sit and stay. So we've got the dog sitting and staying at heel. So as I say, we're practicing this all the time. And sit. And then the way to move forward from this is we take the dog off the lead. Get on, get on, get on. Let her have a wander about. Now, people who know me will know I have a saying, never give a dog a command you can't enforce. So we're not trying to wait till the dog's 20, 30, 40 yards away. The dog's all around us. Millie, Millie. We're about 2 yards away there. Good girl. Sit. And sit. Sit. So we're just enforcing that command, but she's gone down to sit. She's very close proximity, so that's how you start. So the common sense for this is that as the days progress and the weeks progress, get on, get on, get on. We let the distance grow a little bit. Sit. Now you see how now that she moved in that little bit. By gum, Millie, come here to me. Sit and stay. So using your voice, that's how you just reinforce it. Like I say, you don't get gruff with her, you don't get physical with her at all. And sit. Same thing again. And sit. So this is how you develop the stop whistle. As you can see, it works. Doesn't, like I say, don't think that this just happens perfectly all the time when you get a young dog, because it doesn't. It takes enormous patience and just every single day repetition and patience doing the same thing, and that's how you win out in the end. And then as you move, as the dog gets more mature and it gets more obedient, you can move to greater distances. And when you end up with a dog, say like Jack or Kez or Fizz, you can stop them 50, 60 yards every time. They can be in the cover. Many times you'll see on some of my videos, you'll actually see me blow the stop whistle and Jack could be in the forestry side and you'll see him go down to stop. Now, that's the type of dog that you're aiming to get to. So that's how we start the stop whistle. Good girl. Now, another little thing that we do, all this regime comes together when people ask me how we know steadying dogs. Right, again, we're using the lead to begin with. As I say, you cannot train gun dogs without starting properly at the proper stepping stones, lay one foundation down and then build the next foundation. So once we've got the dog walking to heel, sitting, staying, once you've reinforced the stay so that they're not going to move, you put yourself in between, and we use things like tennis balls or dummies. Put yourself, obviously use common sense again, put yourself between the dog and the retrieve and throw the ball down. If the dog moves, if it goes to running to pick the ball, you simply use your voice again, you know, bad girl or whatever, stop her from getting the retrieve, pick hold of the lead, take her back to the original start position and start again. And again, with patience and perseverance and repetition, you end up, you know, with dogs that you can throw balls about and the dog isn't going to move. And then you can obviously, once you've cemented that, the next thing is, come into me, Millie, Millie. Look, she's sitting that tight now because she thinks we're doing this exercise. Come on, yeah, you can come, good girl. And sit and stay. So put her down to stop again, right? So then you do it without the lead. So again, you can see this is the next step, this is the next building block, because every time you have to move on in small increments. Like I say, when you see these people on YouTube and Facebook and they're pretending how to train dogs, they're showing you little bits and pieces or telling you what they're going to do, let them show you. That's the best way to learn how to train a dog, is if you can watch somebody actually doing it. You can see the mistakes that happen, you can see when things just don't go to plan, and then you know how to fix them. Because no, I haven't thrown anything yet. I've watched videos myself, now not too many of them, but I've watched some, and it's amazing. The dog does everything right the first time, every time. We all know that's not true. The dogs misbehave, they break the commands, and so that's why you have to know what you're doing to train a gun dog, or any dog, and you have to work with it, and you have to have patience, and you have to build on each stepping stone. Millie, sit, stay. So obviously then once you've got the dog sitting and staying, and you've got it steady to the drums, we need then to teach it left and right. So, look at me. Hey, Millie. Because believe it or not, the left and right is very important. People think it's just a gimmick. Come on, baby, good gal. Clever gal. And sit then. Sit, dead bird. Sit. And stay. Millie, stay. Millie, stay. Millie. You see that little devil there? You see where things just don't go quite right? Because she broke just as I was putting my arm up to give her the right hand command. But again, that's pure eagerness on her behalf as an 11-12 month old. Oh, good girl, good girl. And sit then, and sit, and stay. So like I say, with young dogs, you have to work your way past that. You cannot expect them to be perfect all the time. And the worst thing you can do is start getting angry with them and start getting frusty, and next thing the dog starts not to enjoy the training, and tail goes between the legs, it goes into sulk mode, especially if that happens more. I've noticed if you have intelligent dogs, you cannot be hard on them. I mean, everybody's met the Spaniel that you could boot its ass from morning till night and it still come back wagging its tail. Them's the ones that I don't like, that type of Spaniel, because they invariably break commands all the time, because they're prepared to break a command and be chastised for it, and what the hell. You want a dog that understands that it needs to please you and you need to please it, and there needs to be this loving bond between you, and they need to pay attention, and they need to try and do everything that you're asking them to do. So you need an intelligently bred Spaniel. So that's a few tips there just on getting the dog steady, and obviously I'll show you another one when we move into the field, and then you put all this together of getting the dog to hunt for tennis balls, retrieve, you're doing the stop whistle, you're doing the recall, so you're building everything up that you've practiced over the weeks and months, and you're putting it all together into one training session. So like I say, you start off with this right from the bottom, from the building blocks of the basic obedience, right up to the dog being steady, to doing the retrieves, to hunting for the tennis balls or the dummies or whatever, rabbit skin dummies, whatever you're throwing out, retrieving them to hand, and recall, and the stop whistle. And literally by then you've got the essence of a good rough shooting dog. Now obviously alongside all of this general obedience, you need to be training the dog to retrieve properly. I see so many Spaniels that are absolutely terrible retrievers. They race out, pick whatever it is up, they race back, they run round and round their owner or their handler, and you're having to snatch at dummies and game to get it out of the dog's mouth. That's terrible. It's easily done to train a dog to retrieve properly. So and if you look at any videos of the likes of Jack or them, you'll see exactly how it's done. That's it. So that's you, Millie. So I hope that's been helpful to anybody that's teaching a young dog or training a young dog.